Hey everyone, welcome to Force Conversation, the show where two scruffy looking nerf herders like to get together and talk about Star Wars. My name's Jay.
And I'm Colin.
Welcome to the show. How you doing, Colin?
I'm very good. I'm okay. It's I'm still on Christmas break, so I'm sitting around in my pyjamas and Star Wars jumper, and feeling all right. Feeling
nice.
all right.
Did you have a good Christmas?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good.
Cool. Okay, well, should we just get on with the show? We've got a few things to talk about today, haven't we?
Punch it, Chewie.
All right. Well, the first bit of news. Was unfortunately not very nice, was it?
No, definitely not. Poor Carrie Fisher. Very, very sad news. Obviously, we don't need to tell everyone. I'm sure everyone watching this knows exactly what's happened. But it's very sad, and we definitely miss her a lot.
Yeah, it was just horrible. That was a real downer on Christmas, to be honest. And I feel really bad for her daughter and her brother because not only did Carrie die, but then a day later her mum dies, Debbie Reynolds. But this is hit. I've spoken to numerous Star Wars fans. It's not just Star Wars fans. A lot of people loved Carrie Fisher, but for Star Wars fans especially, she's been with us, for most of us, since we were little kids, and it's been a real big influence on a lot of people's lives. So it was horrible to hear this. And she's only 60 years old as well.
Too young.
Yeah, way too young. She'd just finished work on episode 8. We just wanted to take a moment to remember Carrie Fisher. So. Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
Okay, we didn't want to sort of go into that too much because it's been a few days now and a lot of people have spoken about that sad event, and we just thought we'd mention it at the beginning and we'll carry on with the rest of the Star Wars news that's been happening. So, what have we got,
Jay? We've got news or rumours about the Boba Fett origin movie being back on the cards.
Yeah, so you see, a Boba Fett movie, as you know, I'm quite happy with a Boba Fett movie if it was done maybe after the Sarlacc, done like a bit of a Western bounty hunter story. But an origin story,
we know his origin, don't we?
Well, yeah, it's been touched on in Clone Wars, for one. It was we saw in the beginning of him in Attack of the Clones. Then you've got the bits in the Clone Wars, which I thought were rubbish. The only way that a Boba Fett origin story is an origin story I want to see is if it's the Dread Pirate Roberts, where the clone of Boba is whacked, and then we get someone else.
Yeah.
If that's the origin story, cool, because that's a good way that they can really play around with him with a bit more freedom, because otherwise they're tied into what's already there. So that's an origin story that I would be quite happy seeing. I don't really need to see the rest of it. We already know that he's meant to be this badass bounty hunter. I know that they've touched on him a little bit in the comics. I'd rather see the stuff after,
I think my view is they should just tell a story about Boba Fett. Yeah, throw in a few flashbacks, that can fill in what actually happened. Yeah, absolutely. But I don't want the film main plot to be about his origin. I mean, what we want is it just touched on in a film, But to be honest, we all know characters are best when they're mysterious. I don't need to know any more about Boba Fett. He's a badass. That's what I need to know.
Yeah, and the only bit I would like to know is, like they had in the, I think it's Tales from the Jabba's Palace, where he escapes the Sarlacc, and then you've got Dengar in there, and he helps him out, because then you can bring a few of those other characters in, and I'd be interested to see where he goes after that. And also, I think it's mentioned in one of the Aftermath stories, isn't it? Like, that they see it's the first book, his armour all battered and stuff like that, lying near the Sarlacc.
Well, this is the thing, because at the moment, it's not canon that he's survived yet. They
No,
haven't
it's just
actually
armour,
made that decision.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'd be quite happy if he didn't survive. Because to be honest, it sounds stupid. I mean, I'd rather know stories about him in his heyday when he was, set before the Star Wars trilogy rather than things now. Because to me, he died. I never was happy with him surviving.
For me, it's different. I want to see that he did survive because I want it to be the only dude that could possibly get out of the Sarlacc was him. And he got out of it, and he's still a badass bounty hunter out there. I was always pissed off with it because I was like, what a crap death. If he's meant to be so cool, he went away screaming and flailing, and it's like, nah, come on, man.
Yeah, it was the worst death. It was the most disappointing death in the entire saga, I think.
So that's why I wanted him to escape, and, that's what I would like to see from it. I don't know what they'll give us. And you know what, it's only sort of been rumoured that it's still there in development, but I'm sure that Disney Lucasfilm have got a whole bunch of things that they're developing. Do you know what I mean? So in development could mean any number of things. It could be like, oh, we've almost completed the movie, or hey, we've done some sketches for what it could look like. Yeah. So we don't really know how far in it is. But yeah, if they did a Fett film with him being mysterious, the thing that was always good was when he only said a couple of words, right? And
he's no good to me, Dad.
The Carl Urban Dread movie, I loved that.
Right? Yeah.
And he kept the helmet on and all that stuff, right? That's the kind of thing that I would like to see with Boba Fett. And you know how in the comics they brought Dr. Aphra in to hang out with Vader, right? I wouldn't be opposed to maybe another character comes along for the ride with Fett. It could be like either he teams up with another bounty hunter, or maybe, I don't know how they do it, but maybe something like that, what they had in Dread, where they had Judge Anderson hanging out with him, and she did most of the talking, didn't she? And then he gave her the odd word here and there. And something like that would work quite well.
To give you the viewer's perspective. Yeah. And because they do that in a lot of things, Doctor Who, etc. like that, because you don't want to be too in sync, or you don't want to see through the eyes of the actual someone like Boba Fett. You want them to just be the cool character in the background.
And that's it. And I have this character in awe of him or something, and it's like, look how awesome he is, And then because we've heard stories about how good he is, or you sort of got. If you go back to just the movies, you got the impression that he was so good because Vader picks him out in particular, right? But if you're going to do it, let's see him like really kicking ass.
In the Star Wars Holiday Special, he's Vader's right-hand man.
He really is, yeah. So he must be good, right?
and he tricks Luke. He takes Luke for a fool. And he can ride a big pink dinosaur.
Yeah, and he has a trident that he got from Aquaman.
That's a story I want to see.
Or how he got the trident from Aquaman.
Yeah. Crossover, Marvel crossover.
I'm guessing he just stole it and then ran onto land.
Take that, sea sucker!
Right, okay, so anyway, do you have anything more you want to say about that?
No.
Okay.
I'm not bothered. I really ain't bothered about a Boba Fett film at all.
I want a Boba Fett film.
Because I know it won't be as good as what will be in your brain. Whatever's in your brain will be better.
Yeah, that's the problem. And you know what? If they take from the expanded universe, like we've mentioned before, like they can take little bits. If they do that, then there's some really good stuff in those books. Like there's some good stories, and maybe they'll do that. I just don't get the point of an origin story unless it is that he is someone else. That's the only way that an origin is worthwhile. But anyway, let's see where they go. We'll probably find out that Boba Fett's slated for 2056 or something like that. So Yeah,
it's not happening immediately. It's only a rumour. So let's move on. Next story on my list here is all about Ben Mendelsohn. and there's been a couple of different articles that have been out where he's been talking about how different versions of Rogue One, how it was shooting the two different versions.
Yeah.
Now, I've not actually read the articles, Jay, so you're going to have to talk this one through.
Okay.
Tell me all about it, Jay.
This was an interview with Steve Weintraub of Collider.com.
Oh, right, yeah.
And he was just
your favourite videos.
I love the Collider stuff. Yeah, I think they do really great jobs. He was just asking him about like filming Rogue One and how apparently Gareth Edwards had filmed each scene from different angles and with different readings. So apparently, so Ben Mendelsohn says, yeah, he totally did that, and there's tons of extra footage out there. And he said, he actually says there's enormous differences within, I would have said, 20 to 30 of the scenes, right? That's pretty cool.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And so,
I mean, because they did say originally it was like 40% reshoots, didn't they?
Yeah. And so Steve had said to him, so basically it's a completely different version of the movie that could be played out in an alternative cut. And he goes, yeah, there really would be. There would be an enormously different renderings of that movie. I mean, from one point of view, as a fan, it kind of sucks that we'll probably never get to see any of this.
Yeah.
Like we'll get some deleted scenes. You know, this bit on Jeddah. There was this scene, or the TIE fighter coming up. Oh yeah, that's how it would have played out. But just knowing that there's actually like a complete another movie out there, it's like, I'll never get to see this, and it'll be stored
Jay,
somewhere in Lucasfilm archives.
in 20 years, there's a good chance you will see it. I mean,
that's true.
Not being jaded or anything, but it's going to be like the Blade Runner. There'll be a new version of it every anniversary.
The director's, yeah, that's true actually.
But I mean, for the short term, no, you're not going to see anything. Unlucky.
That is quite interesting that there's that much filmed, and also what they said was that as they filmed each scene, they retook it from a different shot, so they could. Basically in the editing room, they had their choice of like 100 different shots of how they're going to put this scene together or that scene together, which is quite cool. I like that.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I was really happy with the film it is. So I'm not bothered about a different. I mean, some people moaned about all the reshoots, and it doesn't make it a worse film. I don't think. I think it's still a really great film. But yeah, I would be really interested to see what it is.
I would be interested to see what Vader bits are, because there was that bit in the trailer where he's looking at the plans of the Death Star, right? But what if there's like, we actually filmed like 5 different Vader fights where he just like fucks people up. It's going to be like loads of different scenes of Vader just like cutting through. Like,
if they told me that they filmed Vader on Scarif wiping out the rebels, that I would want to see. But to be honest, I don't think they filmed any more fighting Vader.
But if they did, that's the kind of stuff we might get on a sort of special edition extra scenes section of the Blu-ray. Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I think that's it for news.
Yeah. Cool.
So we'll move on to discussions. Okay. So discussions. First of all, saw an interesting article on tvweb.com. They were speculating on what potentially would a Star Wars TV live-action show be about. Apparently there's been some talks and show reel or something shown to some studios. Lots of detail here, sorry guys. But I didn't really read that bit. I read all the speculation. That was the interesting bit. But nothing confirmed. There's no confirmed definite film coming out next year, TV series coming out next year. But I mean, to be honest, I've been talking about this for a while. What would there be a TV series? And I know the one they were talking about a while ago was like the Star Wars Underworld, sort of the pit of Coruscant and all the the illegal stuff and the smugglers, etc. So I thought it might be interesting for us to have a quick chat about what we would like to see on a TV series.
Yeah, well, the article it talks about the series. It was a presentation made by ABC right? So ABC is owned by...
You're the details man, Jay. You're the details man. I like it.
It's owned by Disney. The problem with that, for
Home
me...
of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes. I stopped after season 2, but I've heard it got much better, so I might have to try and catch up on those.
It didn't.
Oh, it didn't? Oh, okay. I won't catch up on those then. The problem I'd have with it being on ABC. All right, so recently there's been talks of Disney looking to buy Netflix, right?
Yes.
Now, if that happens, that's where it should be, not on ABC.
Oh, yeah.
Because...
ABC's rubbish.
Well, with Netflix, see, ABC's more family-friendly, right? Which, Star Wars, it should be family-friendly, that's fair enough.
That's where Rebels should be.
Yeah, well, it's on Disney, so it's on the kids' channel. But look, with Netflix, it just gives them a little bit more leeway to do other things, because the Marvel stuff they've done on there has been awesome. However, it's a bit darker, right? And I'm not saying that we should be seeing, like, people's heads getting lopped off and stuff like that. Sure, I would love to watch that, right? But, come on, we've got to consider the essence of Star Wars and keep true to the franchise itself. But it just means that if they were to do something like, say, Knights of the Old Republic, they could make it a little bit more grown up. And I think that Netflix would be a good place to put it, because people are going to want to just binge this, right?
Yeah.
And on ABC, you're going to get a week-to-week show. On Netflix, you're going to go, right, here's 12 episodes. And, I mean, how good would that be? It's a 12-hour-long Star Wars movie, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like seeing things weekly.
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
you
because...
are such a weirdo.
I know I am. It's because it then gives me something to look forward to every week. Whereas the binging thing, I when it's done, and you've got to wait a year or whatever. And
or just watch it again.
No, I prefer weekly.
See, for me, I binge. Like, when Daredevil came out, season 1, I just watched it for 13 hours straight.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I don't generally have 13 hours at one go.
I did it overnight.
Yeah.
but
I like my sleep.
Even if you've got all the episodes there, it just means that you can watch them whenever you want. So you could do it week to week if you wanted to. Or you could just go, I'll watch another one. I've got an hour spare, I'll watch one now. So I like the Netflix way of doing it. Although with things like Better Call Saul and that, they come out week to week anyway on there.
Yeah, and Orphan Black. I watched that on there.
Yeah, I got, 4 seasons in, and I was just like, oh, God.
The third series was bad, but the fourth series was really good again.
Yeah. Well, anyway, but so going on with what they were saying about the TV show, they had a few ideas on here. And obviously, our discussion here is what do we think the TV show would be? I know a lot of people want things like Knights of the Old Republic. They talked about the Star Wars underworld, which sounds quite interesting to me, where it's like the depths of Coruscant, you get some new characters and stuff like that. Hopefully that would be set during Empire era, so you've still got like the familiar stormtroopers and all that stuff. But one of the ideas that they had on there, which I actually thinking about it quite like, is an anthology TV show where it would be a bit more like, say, True Detective or something like that. So you'll have one season, let's say they give it 12 episodes, and that'll be a contained story. And then next season we might get something totally different. So you could have Star Wars Underworld, and then you could have, I don't want to say Knights of the Old Republic, because I kind of think that should have its own TV series, an ongoing one, a bit more like Game of Thrones kind of thing, where it can just go on like 5-6 seasons, and you can really get into something there.
I totally agree. I mean, that Knights of the Old Republic, you hit that nail on the head. It should be done like Game of Thrones. That should be what that should be done about.
But with like an anthology program, what it would allow them to do is play around, take a few risks. And, I would like to see, I said a couple of weeks ago, I'd love to see something like Band of Brothers, but just focused on stormtroopers, to sort of see it from their point of view, and like have like relationships with these guys who are actually real people, I'd like to see something like that, but then I'd also like to see, a whole bunch of different stories in such a big galaxy. It would allow them to like introduce new characters that maybe they bring out. Let's say, as an example, they bring out a new bounty hunter who becomes very popular. they could go, oh, you know what, he's not died in a show, but we've got this movie coming up, and this kind of ties in here. We could, that'd be quite cool. Actually, I can't remember what the character's name is. I sent you a picture of one of the characters from the visual guide one. I think he looks so cool, right?
He did look cool.
He's some law enforcement dude.
I will tell you exactly who he is, Jay. Just give me 2 seconds.
I'm trying to see where mine is. It's around there somewhere, but I don't know where to put it.
Tam Pulsar.
Yeah. I thought he looked so badass. He's a bounty hunter.
He's an interstellar lawman representing the authority. He voyaged well beyond his jurisdiction and became a bounty hunter. He is investigating claims of kidnapping, forced servitude and surgical alterations of the victims on the streets of Jeddah.
So that's an interesting character because he's a bounty hunter, but he's going after people. He's like, no, they're criminals. He's come from a law background, right?
Well, he's doing it. He's doing it full law. Basically, though Pulsar's been taken off the case by his superior officer, he's determined to bring these heinous criminals to justice. So basically, he's gone rogue.
Yeah, I love the idea. I'm like, I'd watch a whole series about him.
He is the coolest character in Rogue One.
He looks so cool, and and also you've got a story there where obviously the other cops would be after him because he's going rogue, but then he's also doing it for the right reason. So I'm like, come on, make me a show about him. I want to see this guy. So
I want to see him.
An anthology could be like the way to go, or something like this.
He has got the
Boba
Fett thing.
Yeah, the
antenna. That is cool. He's totally sweet. I love him.
Yeah, I know, right? So yeah, that's what I would like to see from the TV show. What about you?
Well, I'm also keen on anthology, but I was thinking more week-to-week anthology, a bit like Black Mirror or something like that.
So each episode is its own story.
But because I do like the idea of the anthology, but I also would like to see some kind of connectivity in it. So I'm probably in the minority here. I love American Horror Story, and I love the fact they use the same actors and things like that. Now, I don't think that would work in Star Wars.
No.
But something that connects the stories would be interesting. So maybe you could have a theme of the series, and so it's got a bit more cohesion. So because the only thing with that is I think it'd be really expensive.
That would be,
try to change the story every week because Star Wars is going to be expensive, and the only way
they're going to want to make it look like Star Wars. They're going to put the money into that. Yeah.
So some of the other ideas was a Jedi Academy, but again that doesn't work at the moment because there's no Jedi Academies in the and I definitely don't want to see it from the Clone Wars era or anything like that.
No,
we've seen that and it was rubbish.
Like that.
I would like the Underworld thing. I think is interesting. Again, I'm not so bothered about that side of stuff. I think what you've just said, I think that'd be a great story.
Yeah, that's one story, and that in an anthology. But for me, you see, I'd want a whole season of that because I don't know that you could really do something like that justice. Because with this, it's another character we've not met, so you really want to spend the time getting to know this guy and understand him. So for that, you would need it to be a whole season. But you've got the crime, the crime that's going on across that. And, like in Catalyst, you really got a different idea of Coruscant. Like there were bits of it we didn't know existed. So you'd really be able to go into a bit more of that. But, that's just, we don't even know what they've got for Underworld because that's already, apparently written.
They did because also they did that game, didn't they? The 13,
which I thought looked great.
And that, again, could be a potential story, TV. So.
Yeah, so what was I going to say? I cut you off there.
Yeah, I was just... I don't even know what I was going to say. What was I going to say? How connected do you want it to be to the saga? Or, would you mind if it had absolutely nothing to do with anything we've seen before, completely different planets?
No, that would be fine. Look, they'll have the story group involved. Right, so the connectivity would be that maybe you will see a couple of planets we've been to, or there could be completely different ones, but you'll get an understanding of where they are within the galaxy. I do think that I would like it set during the era where the Empire is there, because the connectivity would be things like the Stormtroopers and stuff like that. But then with it being possibly an anthology, it doesn't necessarily have to all be like that. So you could have one that's set during the prequel time. You know, like that would be okay. You could have one that's set maybe in the First Order period, where we're getting, because you know they've got like the outfits and stuff like that, and after Rogue One they've got a whole bunch more uniforms and all that that's there, and I assume that they would let them use them.
Yeah, I mean, I've always liked the idea of something like Tales of a Jedi, where you know, like based on the holocrons or something, and each episode is a story from the holocron that someone's learning from, and then maybe you find out a bit about the person who's learning or something like that. So again, an anthology, but with a theme.
But
maybe.
See, the beauty of an anthology like that means that you could have a season where it is that each episode is a different story from the holocrons, and then you could have another season which, let's say, that lawman, you could have like a whole story just about him. So with the holocron one, you would essentially be getting a different story each week.
Yeah, about a different Jedi.
And then you could have another one that looks at the Sith side of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or that whole season could actually take turns. One episode's Jedi, one Sith, and maybe there's two characters which are the connecting tissue for the whole thing. You know, so there's so much they could do with it. The more that I think about it, the more I hope they go down the anthology road. Because
me too.
It's a missed opportunity if you're just stuck with one thing. Let's say they just go with Underworld, and then we're like, it's a bit lame. It's like, man, I'm stuck with that, you know.
Also, that way, again, sort of Black Mirror-ish, they can have a different guest star every week. You know, we don't have to pay. We don't have to worry about it being hinged on one actor or actress.
Yeah.
That, you know, potentially is going to be rubbish, or it's going to cost them loads of money. They just get people guest starring, and people will want to be in it. Let's face it, won't they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. And then if we say, let's say they went with that, and then did Old Republic as its own thing, and went down the sort of Game of Thrones road. In that one, you know, they're going to really want to spend the money, then get the good actors, and you've got to. You can't do something like that and not really sort of put the money into that. And I think that they should actually consider that as a separate thing.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Hopefully, I've heard that Kathleen Kennedy's a big fan of this show, so hopefully she's watching and she's going to take all our ideas on board and get us involved because, you know...
Oh, she's a big fan of this show?
Yeah, total.
I heard that she likes to tweet using @ForceConvo, using the hashtag ForceConvo.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Sometimes she likes to get in touch with on email with forceconvo@gmail.com.
And what else does she like to contact us?
She likes to go on our Facebook page, Force Conversations, and she likes to leave a comment on there, or maybe sometimes she leaves a little funny post.
And sometimes she likes to like and subscribe to our channel on YouTube.
Her favourite thing is to like our videos. That is, she's the most happiest when she's liking a video of Force Conversation.
Oh, we're so lucky to have her on our side.
Oh.
Right, so I think we've come.
When's she going to give me the Disney money?
Well, yeah, that's the real question, isn't it? Get us involved, Kathleen.
We need budget. You don't have to look at this face and we have budget.
Make this look so much nicer. And, you know, it's more interesting than the Star Wars show. So that's the talk about the TV show, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
What's next?
Well, I've got another discussion topic for you, Jay, if you'd like it.
One. Go on then.
What is going to happen in 2017?
Just in general?
No, in Star Wars. What things are you looking forward to that what could be coming out in 2017 for Star Wars?
Well, the obvious one is Episode 8.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one that I'm looking forward to the most. Obviously, Carrie Fisher is apparently, she filmed everything that she's going to have to film for that. So that's all complete. That's in post-production now, I think.
When are we going to get the first trailer, Jay? When are we going to get the first trailer? What's Catherine said?
Kathleen.
Kathy.
Right, when's the next Marvel movie out? That's where I think we're getting
I don't know what the next Marvel movie is. Is it 4?
Yeah, I think it might be. I think Thor's the next one. So I reckon that's when you're getting it. I need to check the slates for when they're coming out. I haven't looked recently, but whatever the next one is, I'd expect it's going to be on something like that. I'm trying to think what other big Disney properties are. Oh, you got Blade Runner coming soon though. They might stick it on there. I don't know.
There's loads of films coming out this year that it would fit with.
I think we're going to get some kind of teaser within the first sort of 4 months of the year. So by about March, I reckon we'll be seeing March, April.
So actually, I think
this is something that we're going to bring up. The Rogue One Blu-ray's coming out in April.
Yes.
So I think we'll start seeing it around that time.
So I think we'll see it before. I reckon February.
February.
That's my.
What's coming out in February? Actually, Spider-Man: Homecoming. When's that out?
Oh yeah.
That's where they'll stick the trailer on the front of that.
I think by February, whatever's coming out in February, they're going to whack it on. Half term. I reckon half term.
Okay. Well, you say February, I say March, April. I'm thinking more April. So let's see. Let's see where we go.
I'm going to be
making
right.
a bet?
So talking about Blu-rays, yeah. So Blu-ray of Rogue One coming out in April. That's the rough date, the 28th. They're saying.
Yeah.
And also they're saying the 3D version's coming out as well at the same time, which will be a massive relief to me because I had to buy Force Awakens twice this year. It really annoyed me.
I bought it once and then I got the 3D one for Christmas.
Oh.
Yeah.
3D one's cool. It looks really good in 3D.
I still got to watch it because, annoyingly, on Christmas Day, when I got it, I thought, awesome, going to sit and watch it. Went to put it on and found that the batteries were dead in my 3D glasses. I was like, come on, man. So I had to buy some new ones. So I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I'm going to probably do it in the next couple of days. But yeah, I mean, I'll probably have to buy both because what they'll do is it's really out of order. They'll put a whole bunch of extra stuff on the other version, so you have to have both. Yeah.
That, and I hate when they do that with the different stores as well. Each shop has a different extras on that.
Yeah.
Talk about annoying, particularly when you live over here. You don't have all those shops.
Dude, you know what? That kind of stuff really bugs me, and it's something that I get a lot with the Black Series figures. And I think it's a real shitty way to treat your fans in a way. Because, like, for us, for example, there's the Scarif Stormtrooper, right? That's a Walgreens exclusive. So, in the States, Walgreens is a pharmacy. You can only get him there, right? Or you can buy him online, like some of these toy shops. Then to get it over here, you've got to pay a lot more. And it's actually one of my bugs. I should put it on one of our things that I wanted to have a whinge about. But when they do this stuff, it's annoying because you're fleecing your fans. I don't see the point of doing this. I know.
Just make it available. People will buy it.
Yeah, like they want to make demand for these figures, for example. They make them hard to get, and it's like, but they're toys. They should be enjoyed. I love collecting them, right? But I don't want to have to sweat blood and tears to get one because I've said to you before I like to army build. Well, I'm going to struggle to do that with the Scarif Troopers. I can't do it. So
also, surely Disney don't actually get the money because it's these other people that are selling them online for the extra money.
Yeah. I mean, when it's from the store itself, then they're going to get obviously a percentage of it. But is it
like when they do with comics, when they do like variant issues, and the store has to buy X amount of issues to get the variant comic?
I don't know about that because they've had a Walmart exclusive figure recently, right? Which was C-3PO with the golden arm here.
Oh yeah.
Now, I got that for Christmas, and Angela managed to get it through Forbidden Planet, right? So they got that, but they don't always end up being so easy to get. And I don't know how that works because sure, the shop that is the exclusive, they have a deal there with Disney that they're going to get an exclusive figure. I don't know how it works with other sellers and how they get these figures, but the same with the Blu-rays and stuff, you can have this extra footage, deleted scenes if you buy it in HMV. But if you buy it in, Walmart, you'll get this extra stuff stuck on the end, or what's
the Star Wars Holiday Special put on it.
Yeah, so if you're a real fan, you'll go out and buy 30 different copies of this, and it's like, no, man, what's that about? And see, it's stupid as well because you're just encouraging people to pirate stuff.
Exactly, I was going to say, no, I will tolerate.
I'll just go and watch it online, right? But I don't get it, and that's why I sort of have that kind of moan about the comics and stuff with everything being canon, because I was collecting the comics, right? And initially there was, say, like 3 or 4 titles. I was like, okay, yeah, I'll get those. And then it's like, oh, now we're bringing this one out. That's going to be ongoing. Oh, and this one as well. And this one. And then you end up having like 20 different comics. And so if you wanted to know all the canon, you would buy them all. Oh, and also we're going to bring out like 60 books this year. Yeah. And, and it's just like, come on, man. Like, I love getting like my Star Wars stuff, but I'm not a millionaire. If I was a millionaire, this would be fine. I'd buy them all, and then I'd employ someone to read them all to me. But,
I mean, that's the issue with Marvel. I mean, generally, their approach is saturate the market with whatever's on, the key ones at the moment, and it does my head in completely. I just end up not buying it in the end. But
and that's what's happened. I've just got to the point where I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to have to miss out on that information because I just can't do it. But
on a good segue. One of the other things that is coming out in 2017 is Darth Maul's got his five-part miniseries, and this is actually set as a prequel before Phantom Menace. So it's written by Cullen Bunn, who's a really good writer, and art by Luke Ross, who I'm not familiar with. It's due to come out 1st of February. I'm quite interested in that. I'm hoping it's not Darth Maul, the British aristocrat, but it's actually Darth Maul, the badass.
It should be the badass. Before Phantom Menace, he should still be the tough, like, warrior Sith Lord, right?
Yeah.
There were a couple of books. They're obviously legends now. I can't remember. They're called Darth Maul Sith Assassin or something like that. Do you remember what ones?
Yeah, I never read them, but I was aware.
I read one of them, and it was quite good. And there's pretty good stories in there. He was like tracking down some one that he had to kill, but they were quite good. And hopefully we'll get something a bit more like that. I don't know. Like, is there any real reason to have this comic? Like,
I think again it's replacing the canon, isn't it? It's putting in the new origin of him possibly, which will be annoying.
Yeah, all that Night Sister stuff, yeah.
I mean, it'd be interesting. I mean, I don't know. It might be good. Cullen Bunn's a tried and tested writer, and he's normally pretty good at writing like a darker protagonist. He wrote the Sinestro comic. I don't know if you read that. That's quite interesting. So he also did The Sixth Gun, which is an independent comic, which my mate John absolutely loves. It's his favourite comic. So
what's that one?
The Sixth Gun. But it's an independent comic. But yeah. Anyway, next up on my list of things coming up, Thrawn, the upcoming novel by Timothy Zahn. So basically, this is Timothy obviously created Thrawn in the original Thrawn Trilogy and the resurgence of Star Wars novels back in the day. It's his character that obviously then was wiped out when Star Wars changed all its canon. Thrawn's now been reintroduced into Rebels, so he's back in a big way. And so this is, I'm guessing, all about, Thrawn and giving you the full exactly who he is and what he's up to. And
this is his Heir to the Empire reboot.
Yeah, possibly. So it's scheduled to come out on April the 11th, and I am looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one, actually, especially if it's on Audible, because... Now we'll get, obviously, as you say, he created the character, so we'll get a real good, in-depth look at the...
Do you think it'd be massively different or not?
I don't think it'd be massively different, no. But it'd just be because of the setting being different.
Yeah,
that's what we'll get more of how he came to be where he is, and probably.
Yeah, I guess because this is the big difference, isn't it? Because the Thrawn trilogy originally was set after Return of the Jedi, and the Thrawn we're seeing in Rebels is obviously before A New Hope, so a completely different period of time.
Which I still hope that by the end of it, Thrawn just gets sent off to somewhere else in the galaxy, like to the unknown territories or something, and comes back later on.
And then we see him in Episode 8.
Yeah, somewhere else, definitely. Well, actually,
is he Snoke?
Before Thrawn came into Rebels, and before they'd mentioned it, when they'd said Benicio del Toro is going to be a baddie in Episode 8, I was like, oh man, he should be Grand Admiral Thrawn. That would have been cool, right? So we don't know who he's going to be, but I would like it if they did something like that, because I think Thrawn's too good of a character to waste, like, to just kill off, now. Like, you kill him off later. But yeah, the book should be interesting. I mean, it's written by his creator, and he'd done a great job on the original books.
Yeah.
So, I have nothing more to say about that other than I think he'll do a good job, and it'll be interesting to read, and I'm looking forward to getting the Audible of that. I have a weird thing, though, right? I'll get the Audible, but then I feel the need to actually buy the physical copy as well, just so I've got it.
Well, Disney doesn't mind.
Yeah, I know. It sucks, man.
The problem is with Audible recently, what I've really noticed is they're not getting a lot of the Star Wars novels. That's one of the reasons why I took out an Audible membership, and they haven't had a lot of them, and I've had to find them elsewhere. They've had like the big ones, like the novelisations, but they haven't really had many of them. So
Thrawn's quite a big
naughty
one,
Audible, sort it out. But the American version has, if you live in America, lucky you, buggers.
I see. So the American one's got all the books?
Yeah. Because I look on the American site and think, how can I get these?
Well, why are they not just there for everyone? What's that all
I guess
about?
it's like a rights issue, isn't it? I don't know.
Ah, man, all this stuff is so stupid. I mean, they obviously have some legal reasons, but it's ridiculous, and they need to get on top of that because, it's a worldwide franchise. Every fan in the world wants to be able to enjoy this stuff. Make it available for everybody.
Really
sure,
annoying.
We get the movie a day or two before the States, but make all of the stuff available. Like
I say, if they don't want my money, I'll find it elsewhere. But I'd rather
that's
not.
it, right? Yeah, they're trying to push you into getting it.
Being naughty.
Yeah.
I don't want to be naughty. I don't want to be a Sith. So talking about books, another book that's coming up, Aftermath: Empire's End. It's the third final book on the trilogy, the Aftermath trilogy, written by Chuck Wendig, and that comes out on the 21st of February. Now, I've read the first book. Well, I've listened to the audio of it, and I struggled with it because there was a lot of new characters. It's set straight after Return of the Jedi. Introduces loads of new characters, cuts back and forth between them, and it took me 2 listens to actually get my head around who the characters were and what was going on. And it was very much a set-up book. It's giving everyone's backstory and trying to tell everyone who everyone is, and not a lot happened.
Right.
The second book, called Life Debt, I got, but I haven't read yet. I've listened to the first chapter of it. I haven't got any further than that. So I've heard that's a lot better. So I need to get onto that. But the third book, I'm really looking forward to because it's basically going to have the Battle of Jakku, and it's going to feature the end of the Galactic Civil War. It's going to go through exactly what happened there because, as I said, it's following Return of the Jedi, so it's leading up to that really end of what happened to the Galactic Civil War. So I think that would be brilliant. I'm really looking forward to it. So I just need to get on and read this second one, and then by February, hopefully have this third part.
Right, and the book Aftermath, it follows the guy that is Greg Grunberg's character, isn't it? Snap Wexley.
It follows
the mum, doesn't it?
It follows the mum of him, yeah.
And does it end up going into him later on?
Well, in the first book, it doesn't.
Right, okay. I need to get that on Audible because I'm only halfway.
It's not on Audible, by the way. Annoying.
I'm only halfway through the first book, as I've got like about 5 of these books just halfway through.
Yeah.
So yeah, I need to catch up on that stuff. See, this is why, as I said, if I was a millionaire, I'd employ someone to read them to me.
Yeah.
You have to be a proper Star Wars fan, and you've got to be able to do all the voices.
No, I'll just get the cast to read it to me.
Oh yeah, man, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'll sit on Uncle Mark's lap and let him read me a story.
He'll do all the voices himself.
He would.
If I could get on top of these books, I would be quite interested to see the third Aftermath, see where it goes, and yeah, it'd be interesting to find out more of the story.
Yeah. Other quick honourable mentions for what's happening in 2017. Saw's going to be in Rebels. We talked about that last week. So obviously interested to see what happens with that.
Yep.
And then, pardon me, the final thing on my list is Star Wars Celebration. Now, I went this year and it was amazing. And previous years I've watched it online. Obviously next year it's in America again, so I'm not going to be able to go.
In Anaheim, right? Is it?
Yeah. No, it's not. It's Orlando. So,
right, yeah.
And I know like already the 4-day ticket, because it's a 4-day event as well. It's only a 3-day event.
Let me just point out that this pisses me off as well, because it's in April, right?
Yeah,
it's always in April. It's always in April, except the year that I'm on my honeymoon. It's in July. What's that all about?
Well, it's because it was in the UK and I knew it was going to be shite weather if it was in April.
Yeah, man. So that's so annoying. Like when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, April again? Yeah, nice one." So I get to miss the one when it's here, and then all the other ones I could go to, but they're not here.
So basically, I'm going to spend 4 days looking at my computer, basically just watching it online.
Watch the live stream, yeah.
Yeah. Totally. So I reckon it'll be a good one. Obviously, it's going to have a load of stuff. Obviously, I know that's why you're saying that's when the trailers are going to come out.
Well, yeah, I think it'd be around then.
Yeah,
it would make sense.
I mean, they always do release a trailer, but I think we're going to... That's why I'm saying...
I think we'll get a teaser before.
And then I think we're going to get a teaser in February, and then you'll get the main one at Celebration.
Yeah. You might... I think you'll still look at March for the teaser.
Well, no, they're not going to bring that out in March.
Actually,
Celebration's in April.
Actually, let's see when the next Marvel film comes out, because that's probably where they'll put it. Marvel movies. Can't keep talking, dude.
Okay, so Celebration's going to be good anyway. So I think obviously they're going to probably do something about Carrie. I would imagine there'd be some kind of tribute to her. But you're definitely going to see stuff about Episode 8. You'll probably hear a bit more about the Han Solo film, because they were even at Celebration this year. So you'll get what's happening in the future. It's also the 40th anniversary of Star Wars in 2017. So there should be lots of events going on, I would imagine. What do you reckon?
I think that there's going to be a lot happening with it being the 40th anniversary. I think they'll do something particularly special. They've got to. It's a huge time. I actually went to the 30th celebration.
And where was that?
That was in the Excel Centre.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. It was in 2007. I went to that one. That was good.
You didn't invite me, did you?
No. I went to... I was with a couple of friends. It was kind of like a...
a couple of friends, eh?
Yeah,
friends.
It's a bit of a... Shall we go to this...
Star Wars friends.
Oh, yeah, totally, man. Yeah, they like Star Wars. By the way, I just wanted to point out that, it's not going to be a Marvel movie, because the first one's in May. So, that's Guardians. It's Guardians 2.
Oh, is it? That's the first one?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I reckon I put it on with Wonder Woman.
They could do. Yeah, they could do. Thor's not till the end of the year, by the way.
Oh, that's the one I'm looking forward to.
Thor, yeah, that would be good.
Okay, right. Well, that's my look into 2017. Anything that I've missed, Jay, that you want to add in?
Not that I can think of. No, I think that we're pretty much there.
Okay, all right. Right, next segment. Listener comments and questions. Okay, we've had 2 question comments come through. The first one is from Tom Wells, a regular contributor on the Facebook page.
We like people to do that.
Yeah, very good old Tom. So he asked a question, and I must admit, it's something I was thinking about. And he's hoped that it's not in bad taste, and I don't think it is. He was just asking about, with Carrie Fisher's death, what's going to happen in Episode 9? What would we do? Would we recast her? Would we give her an off-screen death? Would we CGI her like in Rogue One? Just generally write about the script. What would you want to do, Jay?
Well, okay, so the first thing, we don't know what happens to her in Episode 8 yet.
Yeah.
Right? So if we say, okay, she gets through Episode 8...
let's assume that.
It's a difficult one, and they're going to have a real hard job doing it. She's a really beloved character, so they want to do it in a dignified way, and maybe doing it off screen would kind of be a
cheaper.
Bit like, and I mean the easiest way is going to be like, oh, this such and such rebel base or planet got blown up and she was on it, right? But I don't think they'll do that.
No.
There's probably a ton of extra footage of her that's left over from episodes 7 and 8.
Yeah.
So they might be able to use some of those bits and fit them in somehow. The CGI thing, right? With the Tarkin bit, people going, "Oh, it's so offensive and it is so in bad taste." Well, no, his family agreed for one, and I don't think it is. If you do it in a way that pays justice to the character, then it's not in bad taste. If you, as I said before, if you had like something like happening to them that was just made them look like an arsehole, or was like, they were getting nailed by someone or whatever, it's like, come on, man, that's not, that's being an arsehole. But if they do it with a certain element of, they could probably use bits of footage of her, little bits of CG where maybe you don't see her full on properly, and then you might have a stand-in for certain things. I think that they kind of have to kill her off in a way, because the only thing they can do is send her off somewhere. She goes to somewhere else in the galaxy, and then we just don't hear from her again. Or maybe we have it like where she communicates just over, like, you hear her voice,
or via hologram,
via hologram or something like that. But yeah, I mean, that's the other thing they could do. They could just send her off somewhere where, in the end of episode 9, that's the place where the heroes go.
All meet up and have that celebration.
Yeah, and then in that one you might get something where you see CGI'd slightly from the... They probably won't do like a full-on like they did with Tarkin or anything, but you might get her from the side, or you'd have a stand-in as her from behind or something like that. I think the important thing to... a bit like that. Or maybe they will do a CGI of her giving medals, like they did at the end of A New Hope or something like that. It's really, really difficult one, especially with it being so fresh right now, because this is definitely
Jay, I was just going to say that, basically, what we've got to remember is, we're talking 3 years' time.
Yeah.
We're talking 2019 here.
Yeah.
So there's two factors. One, it's not going to be as fresh as it is now.
Yeah.
And two, how much is CGI going to improve in 3 years?
Yeah.
So I think they could do a really credible... And also, we would have seen her in episode 8.
Yeah.
So we would have all got used to seeing her in a Star Wars film after that.
Wouldn't be as difficult because they will have extra footage of her.
They've got loads of it.
It would really be a case of just tweaking, like, if she's talking, stuff like that, or, they can take her head and they can manipulate certain parts of footage. So there is a lot they could do with that, and that would be like they could use a second body double doing like hand movement. Let's say it's doing a medal ceremony. You have someone doing that, and then you'll put her face on it. It wouldn't be as... I don't think it would be as fake. Well, I didn't think Tarkin was that fake personally, but it won't be as fake as that stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Look,
like they can. There's ways to, and they've also got all that time to come up with a plan.
Exactly. Well, the thing is, in Force Awakens, she wasn't in it a lot anyway.
No, and most of her scenes. Episode 8, apparently.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Episode 8 can be the story arc with her, and whatever comes out of that. I mean, I hope she survives Episode 8, and I hope that she is in Episode 9, and I hope she doesn't die in it, because I think she could quite easily just have a role from base command in Episode 9, and they could do it with CGI and hologram, and it would be fine, and it wouldn't be bad taste.
And you don't need to kill off all these guys.
Yeah, I think killing her would be the wrong thing just because she, in real life she died. I think stick true to whatever the story is.
Keep the character going and wherever she's meant to go.
Yeah, because the character can live on. I wouldn't recast her, definitely. And I definitely wouldn't... I think CGI is your way. Don't make her a main character in Episode 9, obviously. But have her in it, and definitely have her at the end. Have her in the celebration at the end. Because we know the film's going to end in a celebration at the end.
Yeah, of course.
That's what I want to see her in.
Yeah, and in a way for fans,
and not
as
a
celebration seeing her there. Well, no, if she's kept alive, I mean, that's probably what they'll do. I think that they'll do that. They'll use a combination of footage that's left over of her a little bit of CGI body doubles, and they'll put it together that way. That seems to be the most sensible. And I suppose that having her at the celebration at the end, that the character lives on, is probably the most respectful way to do it.
Because also, let's face it, these films are now supposed to be about the new cast, so she doesn't need to be a main character.
No. She's just there as the general.
Yeah.
Now, so
and there'll be other generals taken over by then. In the timeline, because I'm guessing a few years are going to move on between each film the same way.
Yeah, although episode 8 is supposed to start exactly where 7 left off, isn't it? But I mean, there could still be a time jump within that. Like you could have, we don't know how they're going to
first half,
So
they could have an interval, couldn't they, where we all get a cornetto,
like in the olden days.
Yeah,
the curtains close and the person comes to the front of the thing. Yeah.
Anyway, so Tom, I think that was a good conversation start. It's something I was thinking about anyway, so thanks for that, Tom. And then the next comment was from our friend Darryl Taylor on the Taylor Network. He's asked us, do we think there will be a connection, if any, to the Guardians of the Whills that we obviously see in Rogue One and the Knights of Ren?
Well,
do the Guardians of the Whills go rogue because they have got nothing else left to look after and end up becoming the Knights of Ren or anything like that? Is that a possible scenario?
It is possible. I don't think that will be the case. I think that introducing the Guardians of the Whills, obviously initially it was just a nod to the original title of Star Wars, but it's giving them something else that they can play with down the line.
In a TV series, maybe.
Maybe. Well, yeah, exactly. I don't think that they'll turn into the Knights of Ren. I think the Knights of Ren are going to be fully explained in these new movies, but I don't think it's going to have a connection to something like that. I don't know. I don't have a reason why. I just don't think it will.
What sparked my imagination is if you've got the Knights of Ren almost similar, because again, what Rogue One has established is that there's lots of different sects that worship the Force in different ways and different elements of the Force. So what I like the idea is, we've seen the Sith equivalent of that, and will we still see I think we could still see the Guardians of the Whills in the future episodes, and they could be acolytes of Luke Skywalker or something.
The Knights of Ren could possibly be the opposite version of them.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. They are a sect that are worshipping the dark side, and we could see, the Guardians of the Whills coming to the new films. I think. I mean, that'd be interesting. I definitely would like. They could be the ones that. I mean, Luke might already be in contact with them or something. I don't know.
Yeah. There's so many things they could do. I don't think that they'll be connected in that they turn into the Knights of Ren, but there's a possibility that there is a connection just by being the opposite of them.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's great new stuff that they can play with. And as you said, there's so many different religions as such that follow the Force. There's so many things they can do. And
do you want to see the Bendu in the films?
No.
No.
Look, it's called Bendu because obviously they were originally called the Jedi Bendu. But I think it's a stupid character. Like, just how it looks, right? I'm just like, oh, come on, some big... I don't know. When I saw it, I was somewhat disappointed. I like the voice. The voice is
Tom Baker.
Yeah, but I just don't really have much love for the character itself.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, that was all the comments. So, again, we would love more comments from everybody. So, please definitely like our videos and leave a comment on either the YouTube videos or on our podcast version, or you can leave it on our Facebook site or also on the Taylor Network's Facebook page. Please leave us messages, leave us questions, leave us comments. We will happily discuss things if you submit them. Make this part of the conversation. Be part of it, guys.
Be part of the conversation. That's what it's supposed to be about.
We don't want boring conversations anyway. Okay, cool. Last thing on my list today is a little review for you, Jay. Would you like a little review?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
I've actually owned one of these myself.
You've got one?
No, I had.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I'll let you start the review and then I'll say what I think.
So I'm going to review my little buddy BB-8. I got for Christmas the Spiro BB-8 toy. And it's pretty cool, actually. It's small, very small. Small compared to my head. But perfectly formed. And looks really nice. Weighty, got a nice little stand it comes with. And basically what it does is it's an app-enabled droid. So basically you charge it up and you put an app on your phone and you can basically, there's a couple of different modes. There's a drive mode where you actually steer. It's like a remote control BB-8 basically. And you can drive it around. There's a mode where you put it on patrol and it just goes and wanders around on its own without you controlling it. You can preset a map for it to go. It's also got a voice command feature where there's some limited commands and you can say them into your phone and it will go and do it. There's a mode where you can, if you watch Force Awakens, it talks alongside.
It watches the movie with you, doesn't it?
And gives you like factoids about the characters as they pop up. And there's also a mode where you can record a video on your phone, and then when you look at it on your phone, it's almost projecting a hologram message of that. So all in all, it's quite fun. It's quite robust. It's a good little toy, definitely. It's quirky and it's a nice little character thing. And obviously BB-8's super cute. Someone loves BB-8. I would say the downside is it's so heavily dependent on your phone app. And the one thing that really annoys me is like it makes loads of cool noises and all the BB-8 talking and stuff, but via the phone. So if you haven't got your phone on loud, or you can't just play with the toy and have it next to you and it make noises. You've got to put the phone app on at the same time.
And holograms are on the phone and stuff.
Yeah, the holograms on the phone. So everything is via the phone, and it's just too phone heavy. So that's the negative part of it, I would say. But it's still fun, and like I say, I've been playing around with it all the time. It also really annoys my dogs. And the dogs have eaten it a couple of times and ripped his head off. And he's still got
comes off quite easily.
It does come off. It smacks into a wall and his head will shoot off.
It flies off, yeah.
But it's not broken, so...
No, it just magnetises back on, doesn't it?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's fun. It's a good toy. And I think really that's what you... And it looks nice on my desk, next to my Darth Vader. BB-8, I invented you. Oh, no, I didn't. That was CPO.
CPO?
CPO.
I don't know the name of him.
There's no free in CPO. So, yeah, it's all right. No, I really loved it. Thank you, my darling wife.
Well, okay. Well, there's a Christmas present. Okay, well, so mine I got, we got our one at Christmas last year.
Yeah, I got a year late.
Right. So I don't know how much they are now, but when I got mine, it's 120 quid. Right?
Woo!
And it's an expensive expensive statue. Right?
Yeah.
Because what we found with it is we played with it a lot for the first couple of days. Look, it can do all this stuff, right? And then after we played with it for about a week, it did that.
Yeah.
And we were just like, yeah, let's take this back because...
Oh, you took it back?
Yeah, because it was just sitting on a shelf, and it was kind of like, well, you can get a statue one, so if I really want one, I'll just get that, because it looks nice. Like, if I take it as the actual thing, it looks nice, it's quite cool, and you can move it around, and it can watch the movie with you, and all the stuff that it can do. You watch it at first, you're like, wow, how does it do that? Like, and you can get it to avoid things, and you can say, BB-8, get out of here, and he'll turn around and run away, and stuff like that. But the problem with it is, because of the price, and the amount of time that, personally, I would play with it, after its novelty wore off, it ended up just sitting there as a statue. And what would happen is Andrew was like, look, man, this is a waste of money. And I was like, no, I'm going to play with it. And then I'd get it out and have it, like kids do. Like, no, I'm playing with it, look. And I'd get it out, and then the next time I'm trying, it's just sitting there again. And then I was like, yeah, it's an expensive statue, so we took it back in the end. And look, if you use it loads, it's cool, but when you don't, then you're like, it's a statue.
Yeah, I think
right?
for kids it's great. And,
yeah, but they do cheaper ones for kids.
It's a
they
good
do
toy.
The big inflatable one and stuff like that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
The only thing is this one works like BB-8. The body moves and the head like stays and turns and stuff, and all that is really good.
I mean, it's cool. I mean, I was gonna say it's expensive for what it is. But it's still cool. So so that is my review for BB-8.
Ooh, right.
I give it 3. No, I give it 4 out of 5. There you go.
And I'll give it a 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so is that it? I think that's it for this week, isn't it?
I think it is. I think that's enough for us this week.
We still managed to go over an hour. Like,
I think one thing I will mention is we also this week have recorded a podcast. We were guests on the Nothing Com podcast, which is another podcast on the Taylor Network, and so we spoke for over 2 hours on that.
Yeah.
So we talked a lot of Star Wars this week already, and that was a special episode about Rogue One, but there was a lot of talk about general Star Wars. Really great. Daryl was on there, Jim, and they had a couple of other guests. Marseilles and Julian. So really good conversation, really great bunch of guys, quite a really fun podcast. So definitely listen to that if you get a chance. We'll probably put a link to it on this.
Mm-hmm.
So if you haven't had enough of us talking, there's another two odd hours.
You always hear more of us talking.
Yeah. We're not shy on talking. So again, just a quick plug for Taylor Network. That's the podcast network that we're now part of. Our podcast is on their feed as well as our own feed on SoundCloud. And like I say, there's lots of other podcasts on there. A lot of them being comic centric. So there's Geeks on Gotham and No Apologies and Go Trek Yourself, the Star Trek one, which is brilliant with J.K. Woodward, my old chum on there. So check them out. Lots of good podcasts. And that is that.
Oh, Colin, you've just disappeared from the screen.
I'm back.
Oh, there you're back. All right.
That's my mum just tried calling. Hello, Mum. Shout out to Mum.
All right. So, that's it for this week. You can catch us, find us on our group on Facebook. It's called Forced Conversations. Join in the conversation, leave some comments there. Maybe if there's something you want to hear us talk about, mention that on there. And that group I just post stuff from, Star Wars articles, and hopefully people start talking, and you can post whatever you want on there, Star Wars related, and, just get a conversation going. Please like this video. We really need you to like it, and
we want lots of likes.
Channel.
Likes, apparently, what
well. We're trying to
like.
get some subscribers. It'd be nice if people would do that.
Yeah. Apparently, the important thing though is likes. That's what YouTube like. They judge us on likes. So give us a like.
Subscriptions, but do both. Also, you can get us on Twitter at Forced Convo and using the hashtag Forced Convo. You can get me personally on Twitter at _letter_J_tank, and Colin.
You can get me at Captain Colin on Twitter, because that's the coolest name. I was obviously the first person called Colin who ever decided to get a Twitter handle.
with Captain in front of it. You can also find us on email at forcedconvo@gmail.com. We're on iTunes
for the podcast version, and SoundCloud as well. There's a feed on there, so just look us up, Forced Conversations, you'll find us. And
you can also find us on the Taylor Network, as Colin just mentioned, with a whole bunch of other great podcasts on there too. So that'll do it for us. Have an awesome New Year. Hope everyone has a great time, and stay safe and enjoy yourselves. And until next week, may the Force be with you. Yeah, and rebellions are built on hope. I'm one with the Force is with me. that.